Now we are continuing to question 1.2. We have done number 1, which was requiring us to do the ordinary share capital. 1.2.2 requires us to do the cash flow statement for the year ended 30 June 2020. So basically this is what we are going to do. So I have prepared again a template of what we are going to be looking at. Okay, I have broken down the cash flow statement into 3. So we're going to do the first part, the second part, and the third part. So the first part of the cash flow statement, as you are all aware, we have got cash flow from operating activities, the first part. The second section, of course, is usually cash flow from the investing activities. The last part is the cash flow from the financing activities. So I've broken them like that. So as for now, we are looking at the cash flow from operating activities. The cash generated from operations are already given in your answer book. Okay, the interest paid, we are going to record our interest paid. Let's go back to the information that we are given and look for the interest paid. Let's go to the extract from the income statement, where we have got the interest on loan is our interest paid. The interest on loan, 82,000. So we record 82,000. It is an outflow. All right. And then after the interest paid, we are now going on to the taxation paid. Okay. I'm still going to do 2 calculations that will indicate how you can actually get the taxation paid. Okay. The first thing that you do when you want to calculate the taxation paid is either you can do the note or you can just do that other calculation, which I'm going to show you later. So, okay, fine. This is the note for the taxation paid. You need the amount in the income statement, the balance at the beginning and the balance at the end, and then you get your amounts. Okay, the amount in the income statement, of course, we're going to go to the extract from the income statement. We have the income tax that is given there, 75,600. We are going to record 75,600. This amount is supposed to be negative. You put it in brackets. Okay, the balance BD. Okay, I'll show you like what I did last time again for you to be able to know when to put the balance BD in brackets and when not to put it in brackets. Okay, this is the hint that I am going to give you. Okay, now if ever it's a debit balance, it's going to be a plus. If it's a credit balance, it means it's going to be a minus. So when it's a credit balance, it means you're going to put brackets. Let's go to our question paper and see what is it that they are saying about the tax. SARS income tax 2019 is a debit balance. So the debit balance, according to what I've indicated, a debit balance does not have brackets. It's a positive amount. So we indicate 8,000 without the brackets. So when it comes to the balance CD, or the balance at the end, the debit balance, it is going to be, if it's a debit balance, it's negative. If it is a credit balance, it means that it is going to be positive. Okay, according to our question, SARS income tax is a credit balance at the end, and a credit balance at the end is not supposed to have brackets. So we have got 12,500 without brackets. The moment you have got these 3 amounts, then you can safely calculate your taxation paid. Okay, so it's minus 75,600 plus 8,000 plus 12,500. So in other words, I can simply show this again like this: minus 75,600 plus 8,000 plus 12,500. Okay, let's use our calculators to calculate that. We are going to get something like 55,100 in brackets. Remember, taxation paid is an outflow, 55,100 in brackets. Okay, I hope you have fully understood this part. It's very key for you to know when a balance is debit, what do I do? Do I put brackets or do I not put brackets? So you can always indicate this as a guide so that you can actually be able to do the proper recordings for your taxation paid. Okay, the next item is the dividends paid. The amount for dividends paid, remember, you have to look for the, according to the note. I've also put a template for the note. There is an amount in the financial statements, and then the balance at the beginning and the balance at the end. What is the amount in the financial statements? Remember, I said in the other question, it is the amount, okay, showing the interim dividend and the final dividend for that particular financial year. Okay, so as per our question, if we look at it closely, If we look at our interim, are we given any interim dividend? Let's look at the information that is given on D. On D, dividends. Interim dividend 20 cents per share was declared and paid on the 31st of December 2019. Okay, the shares that are entitled to an interim dividend are those ones that were there at the beginning, the 1.2 million shares. Let's calculate and find out exactly how much is our interim dividend. If we say 1.2 million, 1.2 million, 1.2 million multiplied by what is the price per share, the is 20 cents times 20 cents, it would give us how much? Let's go back to our calculators and find out how much is our interim dividend that was declared. 20 cents times 1.2, we'll get something like let's see, 0.2 times 1.2 million, it will give us something like 240. Our interim dividend is 240,000. 240,000 plus the final dividend. The final dividend that they are saying here, final dividend is 55 cents per share. 55 cents per share was declared, okay? The final dividend, okay, it is actually going to be given on, they said here, the repurchased are not qualifying. The shares that were issued during the year, they are not also qualifying, okay? So how many shares are we going to use to calculate our final dividend? We are going to say the 1.2 million minus the repurchase shares. Will remain with something like 1,160,000 shares multiplied by 55 cents, okay? Multiplied by 55 cents, which will give us something like, let me check with my calculator again, 1,160,000 times 0.55, it's going to give me something like 638,000. Okay, so it's 240 plus 638,000, which will give us something like 878,000. 878,000. Okay, this amount is in brackets. The balance at the beginning, it is this amount here. You look for the shareholders for dividends. The balance at the beginning is the 210,000. So you indicate your 210,000. It's also in brackets. The only amount that is not in brackets is the balance at the end. How much is the balance at the end? We take it from the calculation that we have done here to say 55 cents times 1,160,000, which gave us something like, if we multiply that one, we got the dividends. The amount at the end was, the balance at the end was 638,000. 638,000. Okay. So when you say this amount plus, you add these negative amounts together to make it easy for you. This amount plus this one, and then you minus this one. You remain with something like 52. We remain with something like 450. 450,000 is our dividend paid. The dividend that was paid is 450,000. Or the other simplest way that you can do this, if you do not want to go through all this, you can simply say, okay, fine, the paid dividend. An interim dividend is indicating a paid dividend. These shareholders for dividends from the previous year, it is also going to be paid in this current year. So the amount of dividend, the money that is going to be paid for dividends in 2020, it is by June 2020, it means the 210,000 and the interim dividend that is given here. So we can simply add the two amounts. So in other words, I'm saying you can simply say 210,000, which is the amount from the previous year, and then you add the 240,000, which is the interim dividend. When you add the two amounts, you still get again 450,000. which is our dividends paid by the end of the financial year. Okay, so now that we are done with the calculations for taxation paid and dividends paid, now we can safely calculate the cash flow from operating activities. We are simply saying 639,100 minus 82,000 minus 55,100 minus 450,000. We are going to remain with a positive 52,000. Okay, so this is our cash flow from operating activities. We are done. Watch these calculations properly, the one for taxation paid and dividends paid. They are the ones that will actually cause the cash flow from operating activities to be correct. Because failure for you to do these calculations properly would also mean that the cash flow from operating activities amount is going to be wrong. Thank you.